Good day, everybody. Tim from Timber Visions here. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. Today we're going to work on engraving. I had somebody contact me, co-worker, and he wants an engraving done of his dog. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of how I accomplish this. So stick with us and we'll get right to it. Okay, so this is a software I use. It's called Lightburn, and it is a paid software you have to buy, but it works really well with the laser engraving. And I have already created the image here. But basically I take an image and remove the background, and there's a website where you can do that. I'll put a link to it in the description. But I remove the background, and then I drag the image into Lightburn, and then once it's in Lightburn, you can here I have to ungroup these really quick. So I have this square and the image grouped together, so I have to ungroup it so I can select just the image, and you can go to adjust image, and then it will bring up a side by side. So this on the left is the original image, and then on the right, because I've adjusted the contrast and the brightness and the gamma and the enhanced radius, it gives it a lot more texture, as you can see, and that is that's desirable when engraving an image. If you do this just the raw image, it's way too soft. See how the fur is brought out, the wrinkles in the dog's face are really highlighted, colors in the eye comes out more. All of those are desirable qualities in the image that you're going to engrave. So I didn't want to have to go through all of that during filming, so I just did that ahead of time, and then you can just see that I generally reduce the contrast, bump up the brightness, bump up the gamma, and then bring up the enhance radius and the enhance amount a little bit too. But as you can see here, it really shows the fur a lot better, and the shadows. Yeah, it makes a better image. And then I'm going to be engraving on a 12 by 12 piece of birch plywood. It's like a craft plywood. So I make a 12 by 12 square, which is this here, this outside, and it's 12 by 12, and then I center the image inside of that and group it together, so I can move these both at the same time once I group them. So I just highlight both, and then go up here to group selection, and then now they're together. Now if I move them, I'm moving them both at the same time, with the image centered in the 12 by 12. So I just have that box is set as a line, and then the image is set as image. And if you go to double click on the image, I'm going to do it in grayscale, and I'm going to go left and right. Sometimes you can go diagonal or up and down, but left and right seems to be the best for me. So the max power setting is 80 and the minimum is 20. And when you do an image, it's going to adjust the power of the laser up and down depending on the shading, if that makes sense. So that's how that is. And then the line, of course, is just a line. And I will adjust that power down to like 10%. That way it won't actually make a mark, but it's there. So I will show you how or try to show you how I line these up to get it on the 12 by 12 as I'm doing this. So we want to focus the laser onto the work surface, and they give you this little cylinder, and we have to rehome this because I'm going to move it, but back up here a little bit. You want this to be right in between the end of the laser and the work surface. So when I'm doing this thin plywood, basically it's set all the way down. There's a little thumb screw here, and the laser head will go up and down like this. So if you have a thicker piece, you can raise it up, and for the thinner pieces you have to put it down. Now you see it's still a little bit further away, so now I have to actually bring the head down a little bit, and then focus it that way. Be a little bit of a pain, but yeah, once you get it. So now it's at the correct distance from your work surface. Then you slide that out. Now that'll be focused because it's the correct distance away. So I will rehome the laser here. So now the laser is homed, and then we can adjust it here for our piece. So if I hit shift and then frame, you can see that the frame button. At the same time, it'll turn on the laser while it goes around. You can see the laser's on. So we need to bring the image down and to the left because it's left and too high. So I just click on here and then hit the couple down arrows, like 3 left arrows, and then I will shift and frame again. So now our bottom's just a little bit still too high, and we're just a little bit too far to the right. So we'll have to do a couple more. I hope that's showing up. I can't tell. But we'll click on this, go down 1 and left twice, and then we will check it again. So now we're right on the edge there. We're a little bit too far left now. Our up and down is just perfect. We just need to go right one spot, maybe one click. Give it another try here. Oh, a little bit too far right. So when that happens, so I'm kind of in between, right? So highlight it again. Then I'll hit Alt left, or no, I mean right, Control left. Then it does little movements. I think it's like a quarter of the movements. We'll hit Shift and frame again. And we're right on the edge there. Right on the edge there. So now we're framed properly for our piece of plywood, so we're ready to burn. you can see the images are starting to come through. And it looks kind of dark, but I got a trick for that really brings out the highlights after it's done. And you know, each one's different. Sometimes it works well, and sometimes I have to just redo the whole thing. But either way, I'm going to end up with a good product that my customers can be happy with. Okay, so here it is after it's been engraved, and yes, it looks rather dark. And I'll take you over into the garage where I do my sanding, and I'll show you how we transform this to something that I wouldn't sell to anybody, to something that a person would love to get. Okay, I got my DeWalt Orville sander, and I have it on the lowest speed, and just watch as this transforms. Take a look at that. Really brings out the color, or the highlights, or however you want to put it. Let me bring you guys up a little bit. But yeah, look at all that detail now. So much better. You can really see the hair, the eyes pop now. All the lines, the wrinkles in the forehead, all that comes out because it is engraving it. It's deeper. I mean, when you feel it, there's actually a texture to it. So when you sand it, you take off the higher areas that will end up being lighter colors. So now I blow it off and seal it and get her framed up. And there it is, the finished engraving, all framed up. I put a layer of spar urethane on it to seal it up so it doesn't warp or anything. These frames my brother made out of wood that I milled and planed. That's a silver maple. I think it looks pretty good with the birch plywood. But yeah, pretty good detail. I think it turned out pretty good. So thanks everybody for stopping in and watching this process for engraving. Until next time, be safe, brothers and sisters.